areas. And the other thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on with this storm is the fact that it's now starting to move into some more highly populated areas. Not that any area is more important than the other by any stretch, but now we're talking about a more impactful storm that it would be moving toward the Delhi and Altoona and Waverly communities along the I-20 corridor. And that also brings in a completely different animal, a storm potentially crossing I-20 and Highway 80. Those are obviously highly traveled roadways, and the last thing we need to see right now is a potential tornado on the ground clearing these areas. Again, across the rest of the region, and I want to kind of reset the whole thing for us, we still have some active storms moving through portions of Ouachita County, now moving into northern sections of Calhoun County. This storm did have at least some signs of rotation with it earlier, but now starting to move closer outside of the viewing area. It will move into adjacent sections of Cleveland and Dallas counties toward the Fordyce area probably here in the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, and that technically is outside of the NBC 10 and Fox 14 viewing areas. We had another tornado warning out for portions of Claiborne Parish, Columbia County and Union County in South Arkansas. That was until 7, but it was canceled early. And a lot of these storms have been doing this, intensifying, then hitting their peak pretty quickly, fizzling quickly, and then becoming rather disorganized. The only difference is this storm that the National Weather Service in Jackson's been watching has continued to kind of cycle, is what we call it. And you can now see that stronger area of rotation on the southern edge of the polygon. Brian, that looks like basically there may be 2 circulations with this, because now you've got Scott Landing and Delhi here, then you've got another one here near the Bakers community back north of Lamar, so we may have 2 different circulations going on here.
Yeah, the National Weather Service says that the area of rotation is actually retrograded back behind the cell, and that might be a sign of weakening, so that's a good sign, but still very, very dangerous storm. As you can see, debris ball pretty much passing right over Delhi proper at this point.
Okay, so regardless of whether there's a possible tornado, whether there's a confirmed tornado on the ground, there is a possible tornado associated with this. And also, there's a lot of lofted debris. That debris has been lofted 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 feet up in the atmosphere, if not higher. And that indicates, again, that this storm hit something at some point and was reaching the ground in the form of a tornado at some point. So, again, that's enough to tell us that you need to be in your safe place, interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors, and putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Live Storm Tracker Doppler radar has been picking up that circulation as well, although we've kind of bounced from organized area of rotation over Delhi to not so much organized. And really, you could see that circulation, as the National Weather Service mentioned, kind of retrograding back to the south. Perhaps indicating like I said, a less organized thunderstorm. So a little piece of good news there, but still talking about some torrentially heavy rainfall. County Landing, Scott Landing, Delhi, these areas here, Parish Line Road, Martin Road, and then also as you move into, like I said, Delhi proper, if you will, could see some heavy downpours, and that would, again, cloud any visibility of a possible tornado. It would be rain-wrapped, impossible or almost impossible to see, and you'd be in danger before you even realized that you were in danger. So again, we don't need to see your pictures right now. We can also always take pictures after the fact and stuff like that. Jericho Road, Rogers Lane, Martin Road, these are areas that are also being impacted as this circulation now starts to pull back off to the north and east. Delhi, Altoona communities, Scott Landing, Tyndall, and Waverly are back over here on the right side of the screen. If you're in these areas, proper tornado precautions need to be exercised immediately. Brian, go ahead.
So they just extended the tornado warning, and they said that a confirmed tornado was located just south of Delhi, or 14 miles east of Rayville, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. So
still a confirmed tornado.
Still a confirmed tornado, and correlation coefficient is getting much more defined right over Delhi proper.
Oh, yep, there's the circulation becoming more better defined out of Delhi proper, as you mentioned, the Scott Landing area. The Delhi community. This is downtown Delhi, and you're talking about Shady Lane and Sun Road and School Street, and a lot of the more significant roads in Delhi will be impacted by this storm. Chicago Street, 5th Street you see here. I believe that's Math Street over there on the top right-hand side of your screen. Lee Road over here on the left side. There's our rotation here. We'll be moving right through town. So again, if you're in Delhi, interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I'm going to step out of the way for just a second, and you can see that the radar has refreshed. Most spots have continued to see very strong winds aloft. And I want to switch over to our live storm tracker Doppler radar briefly and take a closer look at this, but also more importantly, I want to take a look at some of our other products. Like I said, we've always talked about our what we call the shear rate and the shear swath, and I really wanted to pull that up out of our own radar at this point to see what it's showing. And you can see the brighter, bolder colors: Scott Landing, Ringgold Road, in the Delhi area, and Parish Line Road, which kind of separates, obviously, Richland and Franklin parishes. But that's where we're seeing the strongest winds right now. South of Delhi, from Delhi southward along I-20, moving northeast. This is our area of rotation. This is our strongest winds, damaging winds, maybe a possible tornado, confirmed tornado according to the National Weather Service. And now with the new refresh, you can see that area of red right over Delhi. Let's switch back over to velocity, and a new tornado warning's been issued.
Yeah, that's the continued one that they had.
Okay, so that's where they've extended it back out. Okay, all right. Well, just making sure that we're, staying on the storms that need to be stayed on as these storms move through. There's a look at the rotation again on radar. This is right in the middle of Delhi right now, and if you're in these areas, you should have been in your safe place. Can you turn the hand tracker back on the Lynx one, please, Brian? Thank you. But if you should have been in your safe place 20 minutes ago. This tornado warning's been out since we were in the midway part of our NBC 10 News at 6 broadcast. So again, you've been warned for a while. You can see Section Road off here to your left, Ringgold Road, Scott Landing. This is I-20, the red line that you see right here. Highway 80 on the north side right here. So again, that kind of puts in perspective where we are on the map. But again, a confirmed tornado on the ground in and around Delhi. Interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are on the road, say on I-20 or Highway 80, and this storm's now starting to kind of get north of Highway 80, if you're in these areas, if there's no last resort, pull off on the side of the road, get into a ditch or a culvert, and cover yourself from flying debris. If you have time or you can, pull off at a gas station or a convenience store, anything, and get inside and just wait for this storm to pass. Anybody that'll let you in, just kind of get in there and wait this storm out. Brian, that looks at that circulation now looks like it's crawled north of Highway 80, is now moving farther away from Altoona and those communities, but still now moving eventually into far western sections of Madison Parish.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service says that thankfully this rotation is starting to weaken as it gets kind of away from Delhi here, but they said, don't let your guard down at this point. We've been seeing this, like you've mentioned, we've been seeing this, these storms will kind of flare up here, and then as quickly as they're here, they're gone. So again, good news is it's moving into at least more stable environment as it continues to push off towards the north and east, but still a very dangerous storm going through portions of Richland, Madison, and Franklin parishes at this time. So again, that's kind of the latest from the National Weather Service. There's good news at least to pass along, but still very, very dangerous storm.
All right, and again, that storm trailing off to the northeast about 35, 40 miles per hour. You don't want to waste your time. Get to your safe place now, interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Yes, I know I'm repeating myself, but we also have to assume that folks are just now getting to their TV and seeing this information for the first time, and we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. That circulation continues to broaden out a little bit, now south of the Warden communities, and you can see much broader in its general appearance. I want to switch back over to live storm tracker Doppler radar, which quite frankly has the best look at this storm, but is also having a look through a lot of heavy rain to get that best look at the storm. And again, rotation is much more broad, and also quite frankly, Brian even pointed this out, we are in a radar mode that kind of peaks the wind at about 30 miles per hour, and once these storms fizzle and weaken a little bit, we may actually have to switch the radar to a different mode that can account for those stronger winds. Kind of puts it all in perspective just how strong and organized some of these storms have been. The shear marker has continued to increase, Brian, and like I said, we're probably getting a little bit of feedback from this particular product in the fact that we're much higher away from the National Weather Service in Jackson's radar range, but obviously still showing strong winds, if not the possibility of damaging wind gusts in these areas.
Right, and this storm has had a history of doing this where, the parent circulation will kind of move off towards the north, and then a new one will develop towards the southeast of the storm. So that's kind of what you're picking up on, maybe up on the shear marker, is that
that's what's happened here.
These multiple areas of rotation that are developing on this storm, one kind of dies out while a new one takes its place.
So here's the other thing. We had the main rotation had just moved through Delhi, north of Altoona. It was moving off to the north and east. Now we got a new area of circulation reforming back off to the south. This is about the second or third time we've had that happen with this storm. This is right along I-20, east of Delhi, kind of sandwiched between the Tyndall and Waverly communities. And I'm trying to pinpoint. It's kind of hard to see, but the Madison. This is the Madison Parish line right here. So we're talking. This is Waverly right across the border here. But if you're in these areas, proper tornado precautions, you're still in a tornado warning, although the main circulation has been gathering off to your north. That's still a dangerous storm. And now there's another little area to the east of Altoona. This storm is a mess. And again, doesn't necessarily mean that it is prompting a tornado currently, but with that many circulations and that inconsistent of an environment, really hard to let your guard down if you're in these areas. So again, just going to kind of zoom back out with that circled area of rotation of where you possibly are. Again, proper tornado precautions, interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors. The debris signature is not there anymore. So that's a little bit of good news, Brian.
That's good news, at least for now. But, you know, as we mentioned, this storm has had a history of producing multiple circulations. And again, it's right now the strongest area of circulation is located near the Waverly area, but it is going to be moving quickly into Madison and portions of the Carroll parishes here over the next 15, 20, even 30 minutes or so. So again, strongest area of rotation is passing over I-20 just east of Delhi. And again, this is your classic reflectivity that we're showing you here. Lots of heavy rain in this. This circulation is rain wrapped. So again, don't be going out trying to get pictures. Make sure you're in your safe place, as you're not going to be able to see it. So again, this is going to be moving real quickly off towards the north and east. Eventually, it'll get out of this warning here, as we've seen storms do this already today. So.
Quick, I know a lot of folks are on our Facebook Live right now and they're asking where Baskington is. That is a smaller community. We're not talking Baskin. We're talking Baskington.
Right.
Big difference. You may not have heard about it. It is a small community, and our mapping software will pick up teeny tiny communities, rural communities. That's what we're talking about. If you never heard of it before, it is, again, a rural area, and we're not talking down about that community or anything like that. It's just a smaller area. But like I said, just keep that in mind. Just want to kind of clear that up for folks on social media.
So yeah, that storm moved earlier through that area. It did actually run over Baskin as well. So kind of just a smaller community off towards the northeast. And again, kind of maybe can zoom in a little bit further on this storm to show right where it is. There's Waverly right there, and that circled area that you're seeing, that's where the at least current area of rotation is. So if you're in Waverly, make sure you're in your safe place. Again, folks along Highway 80 and I-20 as well need to be paying attention to this storm. It is dark now. The sun's gone down a lot earlier this time of year, and a lot of rain, so you're not going to be able to see it. So again, this is going to continue to track very, very quickly off towards the north and east here as we go through the next 5-10 minutes or so. Has the National Weather Service posted any updates about this storm yet?
Well, we have, aside from the new tornado warning that's just been issued, and I was about to tell you about that, but this is a new downstream tornado warning for East Carroll and Madison parishes till 7:30. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over Waverly, moving 12 miles west of Tallulah, moving northeast at 35. So again, Waverly communities, the tornado's right on top of you. We've been looking at that signature, and we've been looking at that rotation. So that new tornado warning, again, also includes East Carroll Parish and much of the northern half of Madison Parish till 7:30.
Okay, it looks like the good news is that we just saw with that last radar scan is that the storm seems to be weakening, at least from a reflectivity standpoint here. But I wonder if we can pop up the correlation coefficient.
Yeah, there's nothing there, Brian.
Nothing there?
The lofted debris has now moved all the way into southern East Carroll Parish. There is still lofted debris, but that's not that there's a tornado on the ground in East Carroll Parish. It's because the storm has pulled that debris so high up into it that it's basically carried into a different part of the storm.
Right. So mainly, again, now we're starting to get more into Madison, West Carroll parishes at this point. And just for reference, there's the Mississippi River. So this storm will be out of our area here pretty quickly, probably in about the next 30 minutes or so. It'll be east of our area here. But until then, we'll be staying on air with you guys as this severe thunderstorm continues to kind of push its way north and eastward.
Live Storm Tracker Doppler radar has that circulation now northeast of Waverly, about a half mile to the northwest of Tyndall North Road, El Dorado Plantation Road. Those are areas maybe 2 miles to the east of this current rotation as it now kind of climbs to the east of the Waverly community.
So that's the latest update on there. Again, new tornado warning goes until 7:30 for folks. Pretty much butts right up against the Mississippi River here, and that's for portions of East West Carroll Parish and Madison Parish as well. So again, the storm's kind of losing not much of a defined hook echo as what we've seen over the last hour or so with these storms. But again, very, very dangerous storm. It's had a confirmed tornado at least at one point in its life. And again, it is tracking right over I-20 now, just south of Waverly. It's going to be moving very, very quickly off towards the north and east. So again, with that latest radar scan, you can kind of see where that circle is for just for reference here, how fast this storm is moving overall. So I'm going to kind of zoom it out one more time again. Folks kind of downstreams, getting into more rural areas, some smaller communities. Actually, I'll probably zoom in here. Let's West Bear Lake Road. This is where this storm will start to come in to. And again, looks like it's mainly in rural areas of Madison Parish near at this time. So.
Yeah, like I said, Bear Lake Road, Bedgood Road, Givens Road, those are all roads that